Using this simple strategy, we've been able to add 30 to 50 new Instagram followers every single day with content that we already had. So we didn't have to go create anything new. And all of this is increasing the overall engagement of our account on the platform, as well as further building our brand. If we've been friends at all for any while, then you know I'm a huge fan of two things: advertising and email, because they're what's considered direct response, right? You send an email, they either buy or they don't. They see an ad, they click, they either buy or they don't. It warrants a response. And so if I look at marketing in two different buckets, you have direct response based activities and you have branding based activities. Now, direct response is where the reason I usually focus on that is because I believe that is the best place to start. But branding overall is what helps win in the long run, because a brand can weather volatile seasons, it can weather recessions in difficult times much better. And I consider a brand a company or a person who has large influence with their audience. And so I want to kind of talk about this today. I'm going to share a strategy that we have been doing to really grow our audience. We've been using this for about 2 months. I've recommended this to clients that are adding hundreds of people to their followers every week. And so I'm going to share this. It's very affordable. But what I want you to do is, when we get into this is gonna be a little tactical, so you're gonna have to visualize a little bit with me as I talk through some of the steps here. But I want you to think of Dwayne Johnson. Is anyone else a rock fan? I love Dwayne Johnson and following him on Instagram. He's just such an inspirational guy. Like, the stuff that he does, sometimes you just wonder how in the world does he do it all. But if you don't know Dwayne Johnson, then you're probably living under a rock and you're probably not listening to this anyway. But if you do know Dwayne Johnson, you may not know or maybe know this, but he has 300, as of the time of this recording, 352 million followers just on Instagram. And if you wanna go through some of the journey he's gone with his brand, and I want you to, this is important here, because when you have a brand, your brand follows you, whereas direct response to that particular offer or product or campaign may not follow you, and oftentimes they don't. So Dwayne Johnson began as a wrestler. We all know him from WWE, I think that's what it was, right? He was a wrestler. And then he transitioned into an actor. And if you ever watch some of his initial acting, it's pretty bad. But now he's a pretty big actor. You see him in Moana, you see him in so many different things, and he's actually a great actor now. From there, he moved into Project Rock. This is back in 2018 with Under Armour. So it's an entire line of Under Armour that is called Project Rock. And then he has Terramana, which is his tequila company. I think it's like one of the fastest growing tequila companies on the planet. He owns Zoa energy drink. He also invested in Salt and Straw ice cream as a partnership. And then he helped start the XFL, which is the football minor league. And now everything he does, here's the cool thing: it's tied to his personality. It's tied to his passions. Now, you may not be an influencer like Dwayne Johnson, like as an individual. Maybe you have your brand, and that is what you're growing here. You're not trying to be the face of the brand, but rather the brand is just your company, right? But even in those situations, as your brand shifts and adjusts and introduces new product lines and ventures into adjacent categories inside your overarching industry, like let's say you were apparel and you started to move into socks, well, your audience, if they love the apparel, they're gonna move with you into, like t-shirts, for example, they're gonna follow you into socks. And there are a lot of different scenarios of this. If I think of First Form. Andy Frisella has supplements first, as a supplement line and a supplement brand, but then they start introducing athleisure and athletic clothes, and those sell like hotcakes, and everybody buys those and raves about the quality. And I just bought a pair of their shorts, I think like a month or two ago. It was like $60 for a pair of gym shorts. I don't think I've ever spent that much on gym shorts before, but the quality is great. And so if you have a brand, that brand can follow you into different areas. But I think the problem is most people focus on branding over direct response too early, in my opinion. I think that it's because if you think about social media, that helps build your brand, right? And when I think of things like that, we often do it and we flock to it when we start our business because it's, air quotes, right? Free. It's free, although it can take a substantial amount of time, the sales are wildly untrackable. And if I look at the statistical numbers of how percentage-wise revenue produced from branding related activities that can even be tracked, it's very low. It's like 10 to 20% of overall revenue in companies that we work with. And so the problem is too many people, I believe, focus on it too early. But if you don't have a brand in the long run, you're going to miss out on this snowball effect that you begin to experience. Now, I have been personally focusing on direct response-based marketing for the last 10 years in our business. But about 18 months ago, we decided to lean heavy into building an actual brand, saying we should build a brand of the Ecommerce Alley in Josh Coffee. This podcast that you're listening or you're watching right now is one of those efforts. It was a slow start of an effort. I mean, we started this podcast closing in on, it's like 18, 19, 20 months ago, something like that. We're coming up on 2 years, and it has been a slow process. But in doing this, we're seeing all the fruits from doing that. The clients that we have that focus on their brand building see a lot of benefit from that. When they want to test new product lines and they need testers, and they say, hey, we need 25 or we need 50 people to trial this new product line. You still have to buy it. They don't always give it out for free, but they'll say, hey, we'll give you a deal. You can buy this. Once you get it, you need to do these things with it, and then provide us your genuine 100% honest feedback. So get this feedback loop. And then now we have a source of getting feedback on new product development. So we release them, they're even better. And so having that audience will not only help you with brand recognition, it helps your ads. Because when people are buying from you, they will click through to your profiles, and it can drive some sales. I don't view branding as more of like a super strong sales driver, because I know it's such a small percentage, but it impacts the other activities that you have going on. Now, I did talk about this in episode 81, what to do in a sales slump. One of my recommendations I gave was allocating more dollars to branding activities. And so what I wanted to do is to follow up on this with an example of something that you could do very tactically and tangibly to begin growing your audience, begin engaging that audience on social media, and then begin actually converting, or on Instagram in particular, and then begin actually converting them into sales. And I'm going to show you what that could look like. And after I did that last episode on what to do in a sales slump, I received a good amount of messages of people saying, hey, I'm in a summer sales slump and I'm going to be working on my branding related activities. And so I hope that this episode kind of breaks down some things that we do, some things you could try. We've been doing this for about 2 months now, seeing great results from it. And I hope you take this and do it. And I would say this, if you do, please let me know. Follow me on Instagram at Josh Coffee, COFFY, and let me know how many followers you get, what the engagements looks like, and just let me know the overall results and observations that you have. So let's go ahead, let's dive into this. So this is a strategy that is built for Instagram. And it's gotten better. We've tested a lot of different ways of doing this, but ultimately here's the gist of it. It's very, very simple. It is boosting your existing content within Instagram. I know that doesn't sound groundbreaking, but we often overlook this. We live in Ads Manager primarily. Very rarely have I ever, people ask me all the time, should I boost this to help drive sales? And I always say, no, don't do that. Use Facebook Ads Manager. That's where we want to manage any kind of purchase campaigns. This is a little bit different. We're going to be boosting within the actual platform of Instagram, but there's some settings we're gonna do. And so there's a 4-step process that we're gonna follow for this. The first thing is we shoot, meaning we make the post, and this is gonna be a reel that we're gonna talk about. So we're gonna shoot, we're gonna boost, we're gonna engage, and we're gonna convert. All right, so 4 steps we're gonna follow here. And if you do this and you do it right, you're gonna have more people engage with your comment. They're gonna comment, they're gonna like, they're gonna follow, and if you really do it right, they're going to buy from you. Whether that's sooner or later, it's gonna help drive sales overall. Sometimes it happens a little sooner, some people buy a little sooner, some people buy a little later if you follow this process. So let's go through each of these steps. The first step is you have to shoot the content that you're going to be boosting. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this, we will use what we already have if we can. I'm a huge fan of just repurposing or boosting top performing content. So for us, we produce so much content already with the podcast and videos. We're filming all the time. And so I didn't have to go create a new reel to post to Instagram. But what we've seen is reels have done best. We've tested this with images. I've tested it with carousels, tested it with reels. Reels do the best out of all of them. Reels are really great at reaching new people. And then it just gets a lot of engagement on the reels. And then we get a ton of followers for really, really, really cheap. And so we need to shoot. The first thing we need to do is we need to shoot. If you have stuff that is top performing, use that first. Use that first if it's already performing, or if not, you are gonna have to create that piece of content. My advice is to do a simple reel, do something like how it's made, show off your product, do a little unboxing, talk about the product a little bit. It's just really, really simple. Be direct with what it is. If you use a funny, and I tested some different ones here. I tested using some more like polarizing videos that I've done. I've tried boosting those, and then I've tried boosting like really tactical videos and things that are like, hey, if you're watching this, you are my ideal customer. And now while sometimes we paid a little bit more for the actual audiences from the more tactical and very very direct content, they were better quality followers. And you can see it as you go through this process. You're gonna see some people are gonna have, if you go the humorous entertainment route with a post that maybe, or a reel that you did, that was really funny, got a lot of engagement, but it wasn't very direct for your ideal customer and ideal audience, then what happens is you get a lot of not fake profiles, but like no photo profiles, meme profiles, just trolls. You get a lot of that. And so my advice is when you do this, show your product, do how it's made. We have somebody in our Max Profits mentorship that tested this. Alice, she owns a microgreens company over in the UK, and Alice used one of her top performing reels. She actually had a reel go viral and it had like millions of views, but she used that top performing reel that showed the microgreens process in like growing microgreens in like 6 to 10 days. So it's entertaining. You get to watch the process be made. It talks about the product, and so it can actually help sell, but it's gonna find someone who's interested in microgreens. And so when you go to choose the content or shoot the content, make sure that it's really relevant. It's not just an entertainment video that you had that went really viral and it's gonna draw a ton of unneeded and unnecessary followers. So first thing is we have to do that. Make sure it is under 90 seconds. To boost it, it has to be under 90 seconds. If it's over that, you'd have to use Ads Manager. So make sure it's under 90 seconds and no added music. You can't add any music to any boosts. So if you're gonna add music, just do that behind the scene, add it in with the video that you're uploading to Instagram, add your little description, and then you'll be good. So first thing is we need to shoot, or we need to select a piece of content that we already have done. The second thing we're gonna do is we're going to boost it. Really simple. In Instagram, blue boost button. Go ahead and hit that. Once you click that, there's gonna be 3 options. You're gonna be able to say, hey, I want more profile visits, more website visits, or more messages. Most people pick the second one, more website visits. We want people to come to our website and buy our products, right? No, we don't want to do that. We're trying to grow an audience, engage the audience, convert the audience. That's what, and increase the overall engagement within our algorithm of our account overall. So we're gonna use more profile visits. This is gonna start getting people going to your profile, which by the way, if you have a good profile with a link that's going to an offer or to your website, you're naturally gonna get people clicking in and going there. And guess what? When they visit your profile, when they click on that link, now they're in your retargeting audiences. So when you're running Facebook ads, you're gonna have all these people, you're gonna start growing your Instagram engagement, retargeting audiences, those custom audiences in Facebook, and you can start running ads to these people as well. So select a goal of more profile visits, and then you're gonna have to define your audience. Now, we did some testing on this, and we had some of our clients do some testing on this as well, where you can select your own audiences. So just like Facebook Ads Manager, you can go and select different interests, you can stack them, layer them, whatever. We found that doing automatic actually worked the best, and the quality of people coming in using the automatic targeting was the best. So automatic targeting is at the very top and then allows you to create your own audiences. We tested different audiences of our own, but automatic actually found the most qualified people. And the way we gauged that was the profiles we went and looked at as people were coming in. As soon as we move to automatic targeting, which is actually easier, we don't have to choose anyone. We just let Instagram find and target people that are similar to your existing followers. And so when we did that, we found the quality. And when you go to their profile, we're like, oh wow, these are people with passions and interests and hobbies, and they fit our ideal customer persona. Like it just kind of came together. And on top of that, it was usually lower cost to get followers and profile visits from this boosting strategy. So my advice, use automatic. You could try other ones. We tried other ones, couldn't get anything to take as well and nearly as quality as using automatic. Then the third and final step is where you choose your budget. My advice on this is with the budget, you'll set a daily budget and you can run it as long as you want until you pause it, or you could run it for a set duration of days. At the beginning, until you find the reel or the post that is gonna do the best and get the lowest cost per profile visit, my advice is to select multiple reels, multiple reels. Maybe you have to film a couple, maybe go through and select some different ones that you did. We've tested like 15 different reels to see which one got the lowest profile visit yet still produced quality followers. And we did have to monitor everything. And so my advice is to set each test that you do, run it for $5 a day and run it for 10 days. So you're basically committing $50 to every reel test. And if you find the reel that gets the lowest profile cost per profile visit and it's doing really well, then you could run that one again, but just run it until you pause it. So then it's running on an ongoing basis. And so you can go and do this $5 a day strategy. You could do more than that if you want to, but you could do $5 a day strategy on multiple ones, let it run $5 a day. You're gonna start adding. We had some people adding 150 followers a day just using this strategy with a very low budget. Go try different ones, monitor the quality of people, monitor the cost per profile visit, and this $5 a day strategy is gonna get a lot of followers coming to your profile, engaging with you, liking your stuff, commenting on your stuff, etc. But we're not done yet. We're not done yet. If we just do that, you're gonna get followers, I guarantee you, you're gonna get like 25 to 50 followers a day. You might have to do a little more than $5 to get that, but you can get there really, really, really affordably. And so do it to multiple posts, you're gonna start getting followers, and if you just do that, great, you have followers. Now, what's the next step? From here, I'm gonna share a little bit of this is a little bit more of a sales conversion strategy that you can do if you want to. If you don't want to do it, it's fine. You'll get followers, you'll get engagements. That's great. But this is the bonus 2 steps. So the first 2 steps, great. Those will accomplish what the title of this podcast is. You're going to get followers. The next 2 steps are going to help improve the quality of the relationships and actually convert. So step 1, shoot. Step 2, boost. Step 3, we're going to engage. Now, when people follow us, we don't engage with people who have blank profile photos or meme profile photos. Just a good rule of thumb. It's a waste of your time. So don't engage with anyone who has those. But this is also, these other 2 steps are also gonna be contingent on how much time you have for this. If you allocated 15, 20, 30 minutes a day to just do this, it's gonna grow relationships within your audience, within your ideal customers, and it's also gonna help with some sales. So here's what it looks like. Third step is engage. If they have the profile photo, if they look legit, here's what we do. We start a chat with them. We'll send a message to them. And we'll lead with their first name. So I'll use Dylan. I'll say, Dylan, send. So every line we put on a different one because it looks personal. If you do, and this is what most people do when they do like canned messages, they have copy and paste messages, or they use some of the snippets that you can make inside of Instagram. And it's all one big thing. And it looks like a sales pitch. It looks like it's automated. Don't do that. Every line, every sentence, different line. And you don't even have to use tons of punctuation within it. It could be very informal. And so we'll say something like this: Dylan, exclamation point, send. Saw you just followed, send. Appreciate you, exclamation point, hands emojis, send. And then what's gonna happen is you could stop there and you're gonna get a lot of times you get a response. You'll be like, hey, no problem, saw your video on microgreens, that's super cool. Just figured I would follow you to see some more stuff. You'll get responses like that. When people respond to you, it's now prioritized you in their feed. So this is gonna help your organic stuff. You can stop there. But if you want to, you can take the bonus route of engagement and you can take it another step. And this can help actually acquire a customer through this process. And so we're going to do a question prompt. So I would say, Dylan, exclamation point, saw you just followed, send, appreciate you, exclamation, hands emojis, send. And then I would ask a question. If I was like a candle company, I would say like, are you a candle fanatic too? Boom, send it right there. So now we're prompting a conversation. We're prompting that conversation. If I'm in microgreens, I'm gonna use Alice's example here. I might say like, how long have you been doing microgreens? Interesting question, right? Because most customers, before they buy from Alice, aren't doing microgreens. Some people come and they're buying microgreens already, but a lot aren't. They're just intrigued by it. They're interested in it. And if I said, how long have you been growing microgreens? What are most people gonna say? They're gonna come back and they're gonna say, actually, I've never grown microgreens, but I've been interested in it. Or they're gonna come back and they're gonna say, I'm not growing microgreens right now, but I loved your video. Or they're gonna come back and they're gonna tell you, hey, I'm not. Well, guess what happened? You just opened this whole door for conversation with an ideal customer that could potentially convert into a purchase now or a purchase down the line. Because now you're building rapport with your ideal customers. You're building these relationships. And those people that you engage with, you'll notice something. When you start to post and you start to see comments on your posts and you post stories and you see, the hearts on your stories and you start to get DM'd and replies on the stories and posts and things like that, you're gonna start to notice a trend. You're gonna notice it's the people that you have conversations with. The people that you talk to are 10 times more likely to engage with you on all of your stuff. And so if you engage with them, you can do the real basic stuff. You can say, hey, first name, saw you just followed, appreciate you. And that's it. But if you want to take it to another level, you could say, hey, are you a candle fanatic too? Or how long have you been growing microgreens? Or insert whatever, curious, what types of supplements are you guys taking? Or what types of supplements are your go-to? Like if I'm a supplement brand, I might ask that. So it's gonna open this conversation. They're gonna come in and say, yeah, I use this and this and this and this and this and this. And then you can actually start talking to them. So that's step 3, engage. Final step is convert. Now I will say this, in this whole strategy, how deep you go in this should depend largely on where you're at in your business, your capacity, and your AOV, right? So let's say where you're at in your business. You're running a super successful business. You've been doing this for like 10 years and you've been running this for a long time and your AOV, you don't have a lot of time and your AOV is like $40. Am I gonna sit in deep conversation with people for a long time or much conversation at all? Probably not. You don't have time, you already run into business, you can focus on other high impact stuff, and your AOV is only $40. I may not focus heavily on deep conversations. Now, let's say, for example, that I have a higher AOV, or maybe I have the capacity to do this. Maybe I'm newer in my business and I'm just trying to acquire customers. Well, sometimes getting in the weeds, getting in the trenches, and like doing some of the work here is gonna help you get a good feedback loop with your ideal customers and the potential customers. And so having these conversations will actually unlock and uncover a ton of things like sales objections that they might have. And you can say, or questions that they might have. You can say, this is something we need to improve in our messaging. So there are a lot of benefits to this, but where you're at in your business, what your average order value is, what your capacity is gonna determine largely how far I'm gonna go into the engagement and trying to convert them. So with that said, lower AOV, I would stay high level on the engagements, and I wouldn't get too deep into like super big back and forth conversations. Higher AOV, I'd probably go back and forth with it. And when opportunity presents itself, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make them an offer for them to purchase. Or if I have the time, I'm gonna make them an offer for them to purchase. I'm gonna give you 2 examples of how you could actually do this. So you start a conversation with someone, and I'm gonna use the candles, for example. You start a conversation, are you a candle fanatic too? And they're like, yeah, I'm a candle fanatic, absolutely love them, but I don't like any toxic stuff in my candles. I want clean burning, I love clean burning candles. And you're like, that's super cool. What are some of your favorite scents? All right, now we're diving a little deeper. Well, I love this and this and this and this and blah, 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 blah. Insert whatever, it doesn't really matter. And you could go back and forth a little bit, and then I might say something like this. Well, I'll tell you what, not sure if you're interested, but if you'd be willing to give me your thoughts on our latest fall collection candles, I'd happily grab you a buy 2, get 1 code. That's it. We don't go grab the buy two get one code and give it to them. We just say, hey, yeah, well, I'm not sure if you're interested, but if you'd be willing to give me your thoughts on it, on our latest fall collection, I'd be happy to grab you a insert whatever offer code, right? And then wait for the response. They're gonna come back and they're like, oh, that's fun, that's cool. I actually have plenty of candles. Great, we're good. But now you have opened this loop of potential customer, right? And they know you have an offer sitting on the table for if they want something. Or they're gonna come back and be like, yeah, that'd be awesome. And you're like, great, let me go grab that. Just literally say, let me go grab that for you real fast. You don't have to literally go grab it. You just have it sitting on a sheet and be like, hey, here's a code, and they come with a code that feels unique, or you could make them a unique code if you really wanted to. Another example here, how is a supplement brand? Change it up. I'd say, hey, you get to a final point, you talk about what supplements you're using, et cetera. You say, hey, curious, ... would you be interested in giving our supplements a try? I'd be happy to give you a 25% off code, and I'd really love to hear your thoughts. So we're not being invasive about it. We're not being super sales. We're just saying, hey, like, curious, would you be interested in giving them a try? We're asking for help. Like, hey, would you be willing to help me out? I would love your feedback. And in exchange for that, I'm going to give you a code. And this could just be an offer that you're already running inside another campaign. It could be part of your welcome offer. Maybe make it a little bit more enticing than a 10% off welcome offer. It could be something that you're using in your Facebook ads. And this is another tangible way of how to validate and see what types of offers people respond to. So this process is like you're getting in there and you're having conversations with real life people and working to say, hey, what are some of the objections they're gonna have? What are the questions that they're gonna have? What are the things that they really like? What are the scents that I hear a lot of people saying that they really like? Once you have just a little cadence for this, your questions are gonna be pretty much the same. They're gonna be mostly the same questions. The responses are gonna become very, very similar. And once you've done this 50 times or 100 times, you're gonna know how to just respond. You're gonna already know what they're probably gonna say. And then you'll know how to guide it to that point of just simply asking for a sale. So if I had a lot of time on my hands and I'm like, hey, I'm still working on finding the ads that are gonna work for me and I'm newer in business, this is a place you could actually put some of your time. For $5 a day, you could be growing your audience, engaging with every person that follows you. If you are already growing the business, you may, and you don't have a whole lot of time, you may not go as deep in it, or you may want to assign a team member, someone, or the social person to be dedicated to actually doing this. So on top of growing your followers, you'll begin building relationships with ideal customers. It helps you do a little bit of market research, understanding messaging, understanding sales objection stuff, and then those engagements you have with people will also increase your visibility in their feed, which will then help drive sales, build rapport, and do all that branding goodness over time. Well, cool. I don't think I've ever talked about social media strategy on here. So, and this is a unique one. I don't think most people listening to this have probably never tried something like this. So if you decide to take me up and follow this boosting strategy or the engagement strategy, follow me on Instagram @JoshCoffee. Just let me know today, hey, listen to the podcast. I'm doing this strategy as well. And then you and I can chat back and forth and just kind of keep a pulse on what's happening for you. But just to recap, 4 steps here. We have to shoot, we have to boost, we have to engage, and finally, we have to convert. But you've been listening to the Ecommerce Alley podcast produced by Dylan Counts. We appreciate you so much for being a listener. I'm getting like to the point of getting a message or so every day, and it's really, really humbling and awesome to talk to so many of you that are listening and saying, hey, I listened to the last 4 podcasts last night. I binged them, 3 of them today. It's really cool to hear all of that. So I just want to, from the bottom of my heart, say thank you for listening to this podcast. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for rating it, and we'll see you in the next episode.